with another live stream, and we're mock drafting. It is the usual Zemo joining me today. Zemo, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Ready to get another day of mock drafting.
We've been doing a lot of 10-teamers. We're ripping nothing but 12-teamers today. So let me just throw this on the Instagram story real quick, and then we will go ahead and get into it. But I will go ahead and do this. We will copy this invite link and throw this in the chat just for anybody that is looking to join that. Okay. Where do you want to draft at here? 12-teamer.
Oh, we're choosing today.
Yeah, go ahead and just choose where you want.
I'm gonna just mix it up. And end round here. End round of the 12. Let's see what we got.
We got JT12V. I'm gonna assume that's Jackson. Jackson told me he was gonna hop on. Guy I used to work with. So he hops in at the 8. You're hopping in at 12. I'm gonna go right in there at 5 is where I'm gonna go. And then we will go ahead and get going. Let's turn that audio off. Okay, here we go. To me, I think a very typical first 4 picks. I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp. I'm cool with that, dude. I think I would have Cooper Kupp over Austin Eckler. So personally, getting Kupp at 5. I was prepared to take Tyreek Hill at 5, so I'm cool with either. We'll see what Jackson goes with here. I've talked fantasy football a lot with Jackson, but I haven't talked individual picks yet. I do know he's a Packers fan. He goes Mahomes there.
Mahomes.
Early pick, but I don't mind Mahomes. I mean, dominating the QB.
All right.
Where are you looking at?
AJ Brown right here is just someone good value. And then it's whether we want to go 0 RB like always, but I think I'm going to try to switch it and go a little hero RB, get one solid one going here, and then maybe try to get some 0 after that. But it's whether I don't think I can take Jonathan Taylor anymore.
No.
So, and I think I like Derrick Henry a lot, but Nick Chubb just tough to pass on there.
Well, dude, especially with Kareem Hunt leaving, there's just so much upside for him, I think. So, Juan said Jackson would be a Packers fan. Yeah, dude, he would be. He gives off Packers fan vibes. Back to me here, dude. Okay, so I don't like where the receiver position's at. Wilson and Waddle left. I like both of them, but I don't love both of them, and I definitely don't like either of them more than Tony Pollard. So I will gladly take Pollard there. I'm a fan of 0 RB, but not so much of a fan I'm going to turn down Tony Pollard in the second round. Okay, back to me here. This is a tough spot now, dude, because the wide receivers that are really left, looking at Devontae Smith, who I don't mind, but I don't think I like him enough to take him at the third-round draft pick. I'm actually going to go with Najee Harris here. Everything that he did last year that was bad, I think they fixed. They fixed the offensive line. They fixed the quarterback issues a little bit because I've heard a lot of good things about Kenny Pickett this offseason. So I think I'm all right with Najee Harris here. We'll see what Jackson goes with here. Breece Hall, not a bad pick. I like that.
Telling you Pollard in the second's a little too early.
What's that?
Jackson said Pollard in the second's a little too early.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, in a 12-team back end, I mean, it's not absurd to say Pollard there, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's about around where he would be.
And yeah, I mean, I look at the running backs taken right after him, Stevenson and Harris, and I think that's the correct grouping. I've seen a few things with Pollard, dude. I saw somebody's running back rankings. It was just tiered list, but they had Tony Pollard in tier 1 with McCaffrey, Saquon, and Bijan, and then Pollard. And then they had Eckler in tier 3. I didn't quite understand that one. Like, that's Eckler being in tier 3. I didn't understand that at all because his upside, or his floor is so high with the receptions alone, right? But you go Gibbs and Ridley. I like that pair of picks. What do you think about it?
You know, I like Ridley a lot this year, and I know you're a fan as well from previous drafts. And then looking at the rest of the board, like I don't mind some of those receivers, but also I just think Gibbs' upside this year could be someone that should have been drafted second round, right? I just got him at a third and a 12-teamer.
Yeah. His reception upside is going to be very high. Okay, cool. So this is not where I would like to go with most drafts, but it's where I've gone here. So I have 2 running backs and a tight end already. My wide receiver room's lacking, which is frustrating because that's the most important room. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Jerry Jeudy here. I think he's in for a breakout year. I'll take him as my wide receiver 2. I don't love it. I would have preferred Amari Cooper if he didn't go the pick before me, but I can deal with that, I guess. Back to you. What are you looking at?
You know, we talked about, I mean, this is where I get my tight end that I'm very, very high on this year in Waller. Right at a very good value as well. Probably was going to go in the next couple picks before it even got back to Jackson. And then I also get to get a nice little pairing in Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley.
Yep. I'm a big fan of that pairing there. Back to Jackson did get his wide receiver 1 with Christian Watson. So and then he goes in with Mike Williams there, so not a bad pairing of picks there at all. Looking at kind of where I'm at, I have 2 receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end. Best player on the board, according to Sleeper, is Herbert. So I could get a quarterback here. There's a few options that I really like that I just don't know if I'll be able to get after these next 2 picks. One of those is Javonte Williams. I'm going to take him there. Dude, I mean, like a freakishly good recovery from his knee injury. So I'm going to take him there, and then I'm going to take Deontay Johnson here and kind of floor down my two aspects of the Pittsburgh offense, which I'm not a huge fan of the Pittsburgh offense, but if I'm going to have 2 spots in there, those are the 2 spots I'm going to have are those. And also, I mean, I would take Johnson over Pickens because I think Pickens is kind of a boomer bust guy, and Johnson is a 7 catches for like 45 yards type of dude, which in a PPR is exactly what you want, right?
And Jackson also asked how we feeling about Pacheco this year. You know, and in my opinion, it's Chiefs running backs are very hard to choose. Like last year, no one was really thinking McKinnon at the beginning of the year. What happens? McKinnon comes out and is a league winner. Like Pacheco, I don't mind, especially as if you're team 4 here drafting him as your 4th RB. I have no problem with that. If you draft him as your 3rd and you have good receivers, fine. But I don't want him being anywhere near my RB2 spot at all. Like I just don't want to. I just don't even feel that. I don't feel very safe and comfortable about him.
You're cutting in and out a little bit, you know.
Wow. Oh, I was saying.
There you go. You're good now.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't feel very safe with having Pacheco as my RB2 at all. But if I'm getting him as my 3rd or 4th in a 12-team league, I can live with that. He's going to get touchdowns. He's going to get the ball. But there's so many running backs in that offense that you never know who's going to pan out to be the RB in that offense.
Yeah, and I also think that we've seen with this Chiefs offense with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? He was overdrafted as a rookie and then did decent. Last year, Pacheco was underdrafted as a rookie and had a very solid year. But Edwards-Helaire fell off big time, like in that Chiefs offense, just because Andy Reid is not a coach that wants to run the ball that much. And when you have Mahomes, you don't want to run the ball that much. So I'm not a huge fan of Pacheco, but I will say if you have Mahomes, drafting Pacheco as like an RB2 or 3, I think is okay because you're kind of cementing yourself with most of the touchdowns for that offense, which the offense, is getting plenty of them. So I don't mind that. I do like the Brandon Cooks pick there by you. I should have known you were going Michael Thomas at some point, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to make it back to me, and I'm looking at the other guys in the draft board. I'm drafting him as my 4th. I think the upside of him over basically all the other guys that are on the board is just bigger, and I just think at this point I'm taking the upside.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the other receivers on the board, you have, like a Jahan Dotson going into his second year, kid out of Penn State. Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, right, coming into his second year. So a couple like kind of risks there, right? You have Quentin Johnston as a rookie. So there's a couple of different pieces there that are just risky picks. Michael Thomas, if you're going to go risky pick, his upside, we all know what it is. So kind of looking where I'm at here, 3 RBs, 3 wide receivers, still no QB. The QB that I'm looking at is still on the board. I don't know how. The next 4 picks, all of them have QBs. So I'm not gonna pick them here. I'm looking at the wide receivers that are on the board. There's 2 guys I want, and both of them I can get in this next pick, though. Tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and take David Montgomery. And that's going to be probably the last running back I take for a while. I think he has an extremely high ceiling because of how good, as they take their second quarterback there. Wow. So I'm going to have to go ahead and take Tua now then. I wanted to anyways, but I think that David Montgomery's ceiling is so high, dude, because if Gibbs goes down, I mean, we saw it last year with Jamal Williams, right? When DeAndre Swift went down, Jamal Williams was unreal. I mean, unreal. So I think this is a really, really good spot there and a big run on quarterbacks there.
Yeah, and that's all right with me. Now I get to load up more on my – like the reason why I took 2 receivers last time is because some of these RBs in this round, like range, you just have like – I mean, I like them better than a lot of – I mean, look at them, how many RBs went before that. Brian Robinson, Charbonnet, P. Ryan. And then you can get some guys in that range of like Rashad Penny right there or Khalil Herbert.
Yeah,
you got guys as backups that hopefully one pans out to be good enough. But
yeah, there are 2 guys I really want wide receiver wise, and I'll wait till Jackson picks just in case he's listening in. I don't want him to take either of them, but there's 2 guys I really want receiver wise. I don't think I'm going to get both. I would love it if I could, but I'm going to get at least one, I think, unless I really get screwed over here. But the one is who I took is a teammate of who I took earlier. I took Jerry Jeudy, and I think Jerry Judy's going to have a breakout season. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to break out. Okay, both of them just went perfect.
You knew as soon as you said that if he was listening, he was taking Jameson.
Yeah. Man. So I'm going to man, I'm in a spot where I only have, 3 receivers, which is not at all where I want to be. But looking at what's fallen to me here, Damian Harris is the best on the board, in my opinion. I'm going to take a wide receiver with this next pick. Elijah Moore was kind of who I wanted, but I'm going to go ahead and take a safe pick, I think, is Tyler Boyd, because I know what I'm getting out of him. I'm getting decent production until somebody goes down with an injury, and the second somebody goes down with an injury, I'm getting really good production. So, but dude, I wanted Courtland Sutton because Jeudy, I think, is going to have a breakout season, but if he doesn't, Courtland Sutton is. So I like drafting kind of Sutton as a handcuff there, but what are you looking at here?
I'm looking, and I got 4 RBs, 4 receivers, and this is a 2 wide receiver, 1 and 2 flex. Already got that good. And I'm not a guy that likes to take stuff early, but I think I might just take 49ers defense to get a solid defense every single week.
Mm-hmm. The fact that the 49ers defense was the 4th defense off the board is insane to me, by the way.
Yeah, I was very lost when the Jets were taken second. But
Dude, I think the Jets are going to have a good defense, but not better than the 49ers.
Yeah, no. I think that value is too good there. And then I'm going to shoot with one of the Chiefs receivers, Sky Moore, and hope that he has a bounce back year from last year.
Yeah, I think this is the range where you start to just take those flyers, right? Who just has the upside that's going to be through the roof. I got 2 guys that I'm looking at here. One of them is Rashee Rice. I'm going to go Kansas City as well. Dude's been an animal in camp, and I think he has really high upside. If Mahomes likes him, we all know where that could go. I'm not going to let the defenses fall anymore. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh here. I'm going to take TJ Watt. Hope probably 12 sacks a game out of him. I mean, dude's just unreal. He had 2 interceptions against the Bengals in week 1 last year. Like as a defensive end, he's an actual animal. So that's what I will go with there and cement the defense down. You go Justin Tucker. The fact that you got him as the 5th kicker off the board is unreal to me as well.
Yeah, I mean, the guys taking above him aren't bad, but you also just left probably one of the best kickers of all time, if not best.
Yep.
The 5th. And then now we're taking the Flyers, so we're taking the guys that got the upside.
Yep, absolutely. What this range is. This is the fun range to draft in, I think. When it's literally you're just taking people that are just, absolute flyers. I'm going to take McManus there. Jacksonville's offense is going to be really good. But final pick of the draft here, I'm hoping Hyatt makes it back to me. Oh, let's go. Okay, Jalen Hyatt's who I'm taking here. Dude, he's on 24 miles an hour at camp, in pads and everything. Dude is a freak athlete, like a legitimate freak athlete. So I'm okay with taking that. Daniel Jones, as we know, with my Madden Dynasty team, loves to turn the ball over. But
oh my, yeah.
I think I turn the ball over more with him on Madden than he actually does in real life. But dude, I think Jalen Hyatt could absolutely break out this year, so I'm cool with that. Who are you taking? Final pick in the entire first draft here of the night. Who you taking?
We're gonna go ahead and just take the Jaylen Warren.
Okay, I was wondering if you would go legit pick or if you were gonna mess around with that one. But this is where it's at. Looking at the teams. Whoever drafted 5th is a genius. Whoever drafted 12th is really struggling with fantasy football knowledge. But as far as that goes, but we'll go ahead and get another one. I'll throw that link in the chat again. And then I will go ahead and email that to you as well real quick. So we can get going on that. I don't know. How do you think that went, Zemo? How'd you like your draft?
I'm looking at it, and my starting lineup, I'd love to get in a 12 team with Chubb and Gibbs, AJ Brown and Kelly, Waller, Trevor Lawrence, Cooks, Michael Thomas, with depth of Penny and Khalil Herbert as well. So I wasn't expecting to take 2 RBs in my first 3, but
I'm not gonna lie. That one is not really ideally how I'd like to go. I'm a fan of the 0 RB. I'm kind of went 0 wide receiver in that last draft, and that's definitely not where I want to go. I went Cooper Kupp right away, and then my wide receiver 2 was definitely not the level that I wanted it to be at. So I'm gonna fix that for this one. This one I'm probably going 0 RB. But we will go ahead and do this. This one will be for you. We'll do an auto-generated number to see where you're drafting at. Okay, you just drafted 12, so we won't do that. Okay, well, you just drafted that. Okay, you'll go 5. That's what we'll go. And then I will go with 4. Okay.
Ooh. Hey, did you email me that link yet?
I believe I did, yes. Thought I did. Yes, I did. Yep, just sent it over to you. So, but yeah, dude, I'm just not a fan of the 0 or not even the 0 wide receiver. I'm not a fan of waiting on wide receiver because I think that the first 3 tiers or the first 4 rounds of wide receivers is the elite receivers, and then after that it's a big fall off. But there's plenty of value at running back then. So, that's just personally how I feel about it. But we'll go ahead and jump into this.
This one's gonna be fun.
That is. Man, I was hoping that somebody would fall there of those first 3. I did just go Cooper Kupp last time. I'm going to take somebody else here. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. Maybe overpaying for him, but he's been saying he wants to hit 2,000 plus yards this year. I've been watching videos of him in camp, and he's unguardable. So I'll take a flyer on him. He very easily could finish as the wide receiver 1 this year. So I'm cool with that upside. You go with Eckler at 5. Kelsey goes right after you, and it looks like it's been pretty traditional with no wild picks. Jacobs goes a little bit early.
Almost got
But not,
Chubb there.
yeah, Jacobs going before Chubb, I think, is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
be quite honest.
we're going with a very ideal start for a 0 wide receiver start, but
Yeah. I'm going to take Pollard. I know I said 0 RB probably this round, but Pollard over Waddle is my personal rankings. But I can promise you, okay, I wanted Higgins there, and I'm going to get him. Ramondre Stevenson is somebody that value here is probably pretty good, but I don't want to end up with the wide receivers that are left in that 4th round. So gonna go ahead and take T. Higgins. If Jamar Chase goes down at all, watch out. But when Joe Burrow comes back, which who knows when that's going to be, right? But I think it's going to be pretty good to have any part of that Bengals offense. I think. I'm looking up when Joe Burrow's when his timetable is.
they came out today and they said the timetable is the same timetable I said last time. Several weeks. Several weeks from when it happened. So they're not adjusting it. They're just backing exactly what they said.
Several weeks is that qualitative term, though, right? That
what that means is just nobody knows.
Yep, and also it could be worse, but we're not going to tell. I mean, yeah, it's also that just unknown, right? If I don't know who they play week 1, but whoever we play week 1, we don't want them to know right now whether they're playing, Joe Burrow or not. So, excuse me. Back to you here. Who are you looking at? I know exactly who you're taking here.
Yeah, because we talked about where do you take him. I just don't like that I only have one receiver and I'm taking him. But I think him being my flexes is a very, very good spot.
Yeah, I was comfortable with him or Cooper, so I was in a fine position. Back to me here around the turn, 3 wide receivers, 1 running back. Looking at the running backs, dude, like I'm not gonna lie, there's several guys that I like in the future. Looking at the wide receiver position and the tight end position, there's a couple aspects here. I think I could cement the wide receiver room and take one, but I think there's people later I could get. I'm gonna go ahead and take Herbert. Not a guy I've been taking a ton, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he was the QB2 last year, in all of scoring, and that offense, all they want to do is throw the ball. Eckler, his rushing upside is quite limited, but his receiving upside is huge. That's why he's drafted where he is, right? But I mean, that offense wants to throw the ball. Clearly, drafting Quentin Johnston in the 1st round. So Herbert is just a gunslinger, dude. I'm cool with that. Working its way back, no crazy picks here. I am probably looking to add, a few running backs here at the turn.
There with Waller going off the board.
Yeah.
That where I was going with that without having a tight end at this point in the draft. That was kind of a tier drop off right there for me, but
no quarterback as well. Are you looking at Trevor Lawrence at all, or not really?
I think I am probably going Trevor Lawrence because I just don't see receivers that I'm like so excited that I had to take before someone else might.
I'm going to take Javonte Williams here as my RB2. I would like Rachaad White to get back to me. Who knows? Okay, he doesn't. But this is shaping up to look kind of similar to what I just did, but I'm going to take David Montgomery as well. So I have Pollard, Williams, and Montgomery as my 3 running backs there. Hill, Higgins, and Cooper as my 3 receivers with Herbert in there as well. I'm cool with that. Deontay Johnson's a good pick from you there, though.
I mean, I'm a big Deontay Johnson fan this year, so very happy that I got him as my 3rd receiver in a draft where 3 RBs were taken in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Back to you here. What are you looking at?
Glad I took a quarterback.
Yeah, no kidding, because that run on quarterbacks was was pretty quick.
You know, I'm looking at tight ends and Freiermuth there, but I might even wait again on tight ends because I'm not thrilled about Freiermuth. I'd rather take someone like Brandon Cooks to be another receiver for me to add to the wide receiver room.
Yeah, no, it's a fair assessment. And Cooks is who I wanted, to be quite honest with you. Looking at what's left here, dude. I mean, there's a couple different options here, but there's a lot of unknown with that is the issue. You know, this Pittsburgh offense, when they throw the ball, I think it's going to be to Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. I don't think Freiermuth is going to have a huge role. I also just don't think the offense is going to be insane. And you have Najee Harris. You have three other options that are better than Freiermuth. Jahan Dotson coming into a second year and with Sam Howell as his quarterback, I'm not really huge on. A.J. Dillon is solid. Kadarius Toney, who knows what role he's going to have. Gibson and Brian Robinson are in this range. But, dude, that Washington backfield and that Washington offense in general, I'm just not excited about. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a flyer here. I'm going to take Quentin Johnston. I think that the value there is pretty good, and then I'm gonna pair, and I'm gonna leave your guy there. But I'm gonna go ahead and overpay for somebody, and I'm fine with it. Cortland Sutton. I've heard that he's been looking really good in camp, and this offense is going to be significantly better. We know Russell Wilson can produce two fantasy relevant wide receivers. Jerry Judy, we're all expecting is going to be one. I think Cortland Sutton will be one as well, though. So that's where I'm going to go with there.
I want to take my guy here, and I think I'm going to. But also, I need a tight end here, and basically everyone besides us has one. So I'm hoping no one drafts their second yet. So we'll see. And it's my wide receiver room for the whole draft with 5 right there.
Mm-hmm.
One, but one of my flyers will probably be a 6th. Of course.
I know.
And Komet. Oh my God!
Man,
what a joke!
Well, we both waited on tight end and paid the price here. In a real draft, I don't think people are taking their second tight ends here. To be
I would have to agree. I don't think people are trying to get backup tight ends. Right
so Chigo Conwell is a pretty good option. Greg Dulcich isn't bad either. I'm just taking whichever one of those two you don't take, pretty much. So
yeah,
cool. I'll take Dulcich.
Yeah, I mean after that, you're praying for one of those guys to get maybe 10 to 15, maybe.
Yeah. Jameson Williams goes right before me. I love Jameson Williams. I wasn't going to take him there because I needed another running back. I'll take Damian Harris as my RB4. This Buffalo offense is going to be good, just like they always are, right? But Damian Harris is 2 years removed from a 15-touchdown season, so let's not forget that. If I know they have Latavius Murray in there as well, probably going to be running back by committee, but Damian Harris is one of those guys that, like, if you need to fill in for a bye week or somebody goes down for a week or two, he's touchdown reliant, right? But he also has shown that he's very, very capable of putting up a 2-touchdown game. So I'm cool with that.
You know, I was sitting here and I said I don't even draft another receiver, but this is a guy I just think is kind of slept on just because he's old, right? I mean, he didn't have the best year with Minnesota last year, but if you're looking at, who else is Bryce Young throwing the ball to?
Yep, it's DJ Chark and Adam Thielen. That's really it.
Yeah, right. And somebody's got to be catching touchdowns.
Yep. And, Jonathan Mingo's the rookie, right, that's going to have a role maybe. Or we would expect him to have a role. But, Adam Thielen's that veteran that is kind of going to hold that. He's going to bridge that wide receiver room, right, from where they are right now to Jonathan Mingo, right? So, I don't mind that pick.
Yeah, they have DJ Chark with 17% projected target share. Down Thielen with 16 and Mingo with 15. So They don't get it right, but they're projecting him for 21 passing touchdowns on the year, and we've seen what Thielen has done for being a touchdown hog in the red zone.
Yep. He's a great red zone target. Where are you looking at here? I would hope running back based off of what your roster is looking like.
The thing is I wasn't really wanting to take any of the guys that went before me of Elijah Mitchell or Tyler But I also think I'm going to go ahead and take a risk.
Oh man, Tank Bigsby. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how much I like Tank Bigsby. Doug Peterson loves to run that running back by committee. I'm gonna go with my other rookie that I like, and that is Roshan Johnson out of Texas. Deontay Foreman was there as well, so I got my choice between the Chicago Bears running backs outside of Khalil Herbert, but I'll take Roshan Johnson. I mean I've said this before plenty. If Bijan Robinson did not exist, or if he would have went to the draft last year, Roshan Johnson would have been first rounder this year, maybe second rounder. I mean, he's an animal, great dude as well. I want, I'm at four. I'm at five running backs. I'm at 2, 4, 5 receivers. Looking at what's left, I could take a defense. I'm probably going to, but there's a few defenses that I like, to be quite honest. And I'm just going to take the best kicker in the league, and that's going to be Justin Tucker. So looking at the drop off between Tucker to the kicker I would get at 14-9 there, and the defenses there, that trade off, I'm going to take Tucker.
Yep. I mean, I was taking either Tucker or Harrison Butker. So.
Okay, fair enough. We both went kicker there. I'm assuming we're probably both going to go defense here, and then with a wild card pick there. Oh boy, mom's home. What are you looking at here? Back to you. You go the Patriots. Fair enough. I will go ahead and take defensive-wise the Steelers and TJ Watt again. Back to me. Here's just the absolute toss-up pick, right? I took Jalen Hyatt last draft. I'm not going to this draft, but this is a guy I'm going to take right there is Alec Pierce.
Well, I'll take him this time then. Thanks.
Yeah, I had so many aspects of this draft that were just like the last draft, so I wanted to switch that up a little bit. I'm going to claim like spot 9 or something in this upcoming draft to so I can ensure that I'm going to get a very different draft because it's fun. But at the same time, I was like in this exact same spot as I previously was. So there's that, and I'll email that to you as well. So you kind of went 0 wide receiver there. How did you think that ended up from your perspective?
Yeah, it was different because I went 0 to start, right, for the first 4, but I loaded up on a lot of guys that I'm okay with for getting the 3 RBs I got in the first 4 as well. And then it allowed me to go very, very 0 RB for the next 6 rounds. I mean, my 4th running back I took was so late in the draft with like Tank Bigsby, but also I don't think I would ever need him with how many receivers I had. So it was a very different draft from what I've done in the past, but getting away with Eckler, Derrick Henry, and Kamara was a very, very good value.
Yeah, no, I mean you did have some good value with running backs there. You're gonna go at the 101.
Yeah, I was 12, 5. Now we're going to 1.
Love it. I'm interested to see. Yep, Jefferson. Chase at 4 is good value. I'm hoping I get Hill. Oh man, okay, that's all right. That forces me to think a little bit differently here. I'm gonna go Saquon. Could have taken Diggs or AJ Brown. They go right after me, but I'm gonna say no to that, and then I'll take my guy there with Amon-Ra at the 204. I love Amon-Ra. I like him more than CeeDee Lamb. I probably like him more than Devontae Adams, even just because I don't think Jimmy G is going to throw deep that much. So you just got some insane value there, though.
Yeah, I mean, getting Tony Pollard right there, I think is very good for a first pick overall. I mean, I had 2 QBs before me. It helps a lot in that scenario, but then I think I got to go. I've not been taking Mark Andrews a lot, not because I don't think he's bad, going to be bad this year, just because I didn't know what the draft capital is that I think he's worth. But I think this is about a spot where I would be willing to take him here.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the guys that I'm hoping to make it back to me. I'm hoping I get okay, cool. I was hoping to get my choice between Etienne and Metcalf. I might take Gibbs here in all honesty, but I already took my homer pick in Amon-Ra, so I'm going to go ahead and take Travis Etienne there instead. If Gibbs makes it back to me, I'm going to be taking him. He did not. Didn't think he would. There goes Calvin Ridley. That's who I wanted there. Kamara's there on the board. I'm going to go ahead and take Deebo Samuel, though, to have 2 and 2. I love starting 2 and 2 because then this next pick or in this next kind of turn at 5 and 6, rounds 5 and 6, just absolutely best players on the board. I'm taking them no matter what. I don't feel like I have to force a position at all.
Was really praying Lamar made it back to me there so I could get the Lamar Mark Andrews stack, which the only one that I think is like serviceable for the Ravens, and also Lamar's rushing is just so nice in fantasy.
Yeah,
and I find him going to be having a great year this year, but now it just drops down to being able to get an Amari Cooper there. Oh, I mean, we've talked about him multiple times on the show. He's going to have a good year. Deshaun should bounce back. If he doesn't, there's a lot of stuff going on with him, but he should have a bounce back year. We've seen what he's been able to do in the past.
Yeah. And I think we've also seen Amari Cooper put up unreal numbers, right? I mean, let's think back to 2 years ago with Dallas when he was spectacular, right? And CeeDee Lamb was really the wide receiver 2 on that team, and CeeDee Lamb is being drafted early second round now, right? Amari Cooper, I understand, is a little bit older. CeeDee Lamb has progressed, but Amari Cooper is still one of the best route runners in the league. And when you pair that, one of the best route runners in the league, with a quarterback who has potential to be quite good, the upside is definitely there.
We've seen the numbers he's allowed DeAndre Hopkins to put up, right? And also Amari Cooper, even in a pretty bad Cleveland offense last year, was a pretty good fantasy player. I had him in a couple of leagues, and he was very good as a wide receiver 2/flex.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know if I go – because right now I'm like, I like Damian Pearson-Sanders actually, but like Damian Pierce is such a just workhorse, just gets the ball so much in a team that doesn't score very much, so they pass more too. I don't know. I think I'm just going to go with DJ Moore here and cement it's a little bit of a hero RB type of draft with Tony Pollard.
Yeah. Just so you know, total points last year, Amari Cooper was the wide receiver 8. That's in standard. If we go to PPR here, he was the wide receiver 10. So top 10 wide receiver is what you're looking at getting with the value there. Working its way back to me, that stinks because I would have loved to go quarterback, and Fields and Lawrence is that tier of quarterbacks, right, that we talk about. After that, I think it kind of big time falls off. I would have loved the stack of Lawrence and Etienne to get nearly all of the touchdowns in that offense, which is going to be a really good offense. Looking at what's left here, dude, I'm not a fan of Pitts. I don't want to take Goddard this early. London's an interesting one. He was significantly better last year once they made the switch to Desmond Ridder. And as I'm looking up the stats here on where he was the final 5 weeks of the year. He was a wide receiver 30. Still not great, right? But in a spot that's not terrible. But I'm going to take Alexander Madison here. I think this Minnesota offense is going to require him to get a lot of work. I would love Chris Godwin here, and I'm going to get him. Sweet. That's exactly what I wanted to get there. So those are the two guys I was debating between. So I'm still at that spot where 3 running backs, 3 receivers, so I can freely take whoever I want.
Yeah. We talked about not wanting Pacheco to be your RB2, which he doesn't have to be if I take him here, because I could also take a Rachaad White or Javonte Williams, and I do think Javonte Williams is going to have a really good year this year. I know people are a little low on projections and stuff on him for the beginning of the year just because of health reasons, but if they're pretty certain they're going to be playing him in preseason,
yeah,
I don't know what their worry about health reasons are if you're willing to play him in preseason. If they're going to say he's out the whole preseason and then we'll see about week 1, then yeah, I understand like his injury holding him back, but you got to trust him pretty much to put him on the field in preseason.
Yeah,
So
you don't just throw like especially in a backfield where you don't have Melvin Gordon anymore. You don't throw Javonte Williams out there in a preseason game unless he is 130% ready to go. Like, I'm
and then
completely with you there.
got a ton in drafts this year is Christian Kirk, and I mean we've said we think the Jags offense is going to be very good this year. Crazy to say for the next couple of years, but now they are going to be very good, and it can't just be Calvin Ridley catching balls. And we also haven't necessarily seen Calvin Ridley in a little bit, and haven't seen him in this offense. So
Yeah.
maybe Christian Kirk takes a little bit of a lead in this offense, but Calvin Ridley, I still obviously think is the better pick.
Yeah, I mean Christian Kirk, you're looking at a guy that was wide receiver 12 last year in PPR formats. So now, obviously, like you said, you're adding Calvin Ridley in there, but Christian Kirk has chemistry with Trevor Lawrence, and that's not going to go away, right? Calvin Ridley might come up and interrupt it a little bit, but it's still going to be there. Looking at where I'm at now, I still don't have a quarterback. I still don't have a tight end. Tight end, I'm going to take Evan Ingram here. I think the drop off from Ingram to the next kind of tier is kind of bad, or kind of drastic, I should say. And then I'm going to take Tua. So I'm going to get my quarterback. I'm going to get my tight end here. Mike McDaniel's a genius. He reminds me of like a young Kyle Shanahan. I say young Kyle Shanahan, like Kyle Shanahan's not young. And I think he's schematic genius to say the least. He's going to get guys open. Tua's going to sling the ball around, and they're going to be just fine, I think.
Well, Brandon Cook's right before me, but really quick, back to that Jags point we were talking about. I mean, the projections right now have them each tied for 20% target share. Now, do I believe that's correct? I do think Ridley, if he starts performing, will probably get more of the targets, but they're not going to be a drastic difference in targets. But Ridley, we've seen a skill set. He's probably going to be able to do more with his targets than Christian Kirk can. But if the targets are similar, I like him as going to be in my fourth wide receiver there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cooks goes right before you. Are you upset by that?
Yeah, that was 100% my pick in a PPR format. Brandon Cooks year in and year out, no matter whatever team he's on, he's just a PPR monster.
Yep. I am with you there. But you do have a few guys that, especially two of your guys there, Thomas and Williams, that are still available.
But I've taken Thomas every draft, right? And I got 4 people here. And I'm going to go ahead and take someone that's going to give me some massive upside at QB with Anthony Richardson.
I like that a lot. I do like that a lot. I also think that the floor, I mean, everybody talks about the upside, right? When you're talking about him, I think the floor is actually kind of high too. Unless he gets benched, right? Which is very possible. But he's been taking a lot of the first string snaps early in camp. And if his floor is like 14 points a game, because he's going to carry the ball. I mean, rushing wise, he's going to have you 6 or 7 points a game minimum. I mean, and that's assuming he doesn't get a touchdown, right? I mean, he's going to be hitting that 50 to 70 yards rushing pretty much every week. So I think that
you don't have Jonathan Taylor, then he's going to be their leading rusher.
Yep.
Their leading rusher for their team if they don't have Jonathan Taylor.
Yep. I completely agree. I'm going to make this pick and then go use the restroom real quick, but I'm going J-Mo here. Give me the pair of Detroit Lions receivers there, and I'll be right back.
All right, back to me. Looking at it, got not too much RB depth here, especially we don't know what's going to happen if the Saints sign Kareem Hunt. They signed Kareem Hunt, who knows how big of a role Jamal Williams is going to have, but we've seen him perform. So I would like to get a person that's a league winner last year, Jared McKinnon, just to be safe in that department. And then from there, I think we're taking best available. And I think best available here is probably an Allen Lazard into a Jets offense with a very, very familiar face of Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers wanted him for a reason, and if Aaron Rodgers really wanted him, then he's going to perform as being a 5th receiver on a fantasy team.
I'm assuming you're talking about Lazard there, but it's worked back to me, and I got back just in time to come at you with not a bold pick yet, but I mean, in all honesty, I'm looking at what's left here. There's not a ton of flyers I'm eager to take right now, so I'm going to take the best defense in the league, in my opinion. I don't know why they're ranked 4th to them. And then looking at where we're at now, there's a few kind of options of where I could go. I'm looking at this, and I'm probably going to end up going with I'm debating between Tyler Boyd and Rashee Rice. I'm going to end up with Tyler Boyd, though. I mean, we all know how high his ceiling is, right? If Jamar Chase or T. Higgins goes down. So that's all I have to say.
All right. I mean, one, I'm going to take the Rashee Rice pick. Came all the way back to me, and Sky Moore was gone, so it helped me not have to debate which one I wanted to take this time. Then come back around, and I'm just taking the best kicker on the board. Kickers can be a big league winner, especially if I got Mark Andrews getting yards to get. I like getting a kicker that's with a quarterback or a kicker that's with one of your better players, so you're getting more points than your top players are getting yards and points for you as well.
Yep. I'm going to take McPherson, having heard you talk about kickers so much. And then Bigsby is somebody that I wanted with having ETN. I would have loved Bigsby, but he did not fall to me. I got 2 picks here where it's just absolute toss-ups, right? These are your home run hitters, if you will. There's a few different people I could go with. I have Tua as my QB, so I'm not opposed to taking somebody like Kenny Pickett, kind of as somebody that could blow up, right? Kyler Murray, maybe when he comes back. But I'm probably going to take 2 just sneaky picks. We're going to go with Nico Collins with our first one, and then I was thinking I was picking quicker there.
Yeah.
I know you're going to take the second guy I was going to take. So,
I mean, I actually don't think you do because I'm taking Kyler Murray here.
Okay.
Pure because I have Anthony Richardson, right?
Yep.
And in case that does fall out with him getting benched, I'm hoping Kyler Murray, when he gets back, is still Kyler Murray, whenever that is. The earlier it is, the better for me because the less weeks I have to go through if it's not working out with Richard.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, would I take a defense here? Honestly, probably not because every team basically has a defense in a real league, but I'll do it for the sake of the draft. And just go ahead and take the Saints defense here.
The Saints defense is the defense that's actually like really, really good to take. If you're looking to take, as Jalen Hyatt does end up going, I'm going to take DJ Chark here. But dude, like talking about the Saints here, if you look at like a little bit, like the Saints have a solid defense. Don't get me wrong, right? Very solid defense, but it's not like there's a reason they're going undrafted. They don't have that top of the line sack or interception consistent threat, right? Like you have Marshawn Lattimore, great defense, great corner, right? You have like Cameron Jordan.
Or Cam Jordan, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. And I mean you have good threats, but you don't have that that Bosa, that Watt, that's going to get you drafted. But dude, I mean, look at this right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. I mean, look at this schedule.
They have the strength of schedule, like the best schedule, the easiest schedule of the year. They have number 1.
I mean, you look at teams that you want your defense to be playing against. Titans, yes. Panthers, yes. Packers, yes. Buccaneers, yes. Patriots, yes. Texans, yes. 6 yeses. No against the Jaguars. Yes against the Colts. Yes against the Bears, probably, depending on where they're at that stage. Maybe no against the Vikings. Yes against the Falcons. Probably no against the Lions, right? Yes against the Panthers, depending here, right? But like your first 8 to 9 weeks is like a situation where you have to pick up defense maybe one time. Dude, the Saints defense is a defense I'm really targeting in a lot of drafts just to pick up on like waivers.
Because a lot of times you can also get them in the very last round of your draft. Like when people defense, you can maybe steal that sleeper that you wanted, and then you can go take a Saints defense coming around. Because in all reality, what defense is going to make a big difference besides the top couple on being a for sure better than the Saints? No one's necessarily for sure better.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw you on the spot here. As we'll go ahead and wrap this up, and I'm gonna throw you on the spot, and then we'll do one more draft here. But who's your biggest wide receiver sleeper that you're looking at in mock drafts this year, or I guess in real drafts this year?
All right, in a real draft, especially in a 12 team, because you're going to get a little deeper. If you're in 10 team, you might not have to reach as deep. But I mean, I really do think it's Jalen Hyatt has a good shout. There is zero. I mean, we talked about it enough, but who has really cemented the fact that they deserve targets in the Giants offense?
The only one that I can confirm is going to get targets is Darren Waller because he's tight end. The wide receiver room is wide open.
Yeah, and not many wide receiver rooms coming in as a rookie are just going to be completely open without one person that's clear cut going to be better than you. I mean, the people that they had last year that they're bringing back this year. I mean, they're signing Paris Campbell because they need receivers. What has Paris Campbell done? Paris Campbell hasn't done anything. And guess what? He can't run 24 miles an hour. So if you can run 24 miles an hour in pads, I mean, the big play upside, we've seen what Tyreek has done, and he beat Tyreek's record for speed. So that's probably my number one. What would you go with that?
Yeah, no, first of all, Jalen Hyatt's a great pick because we've also seen what he did in college, and that's exactly what he did, right? We saw him play against Alabama with, Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's going to be a top 15 draft pick this upcoming year, and Brian Branch in the secondary, who was a second or third rounder this year, and torched him. I mean, torched him. So we've seen it before, and I would not be surprised at all if he starts to do that in the NFL. For my sleepers for wide receiver, there's two that I want to throw at you. One of them is Ridley because we talk about him all the time. His route running in camp is unreal, like actually unreal. We forget that like 2 years ago before he took the break for mental health, and then he decided to bet on the Falcons. Which was his first mistake in general, right? And before we saw that, he was, absolutely unreal. Spectacular fantasy wide receiver, spectacular, actual football wide receiver. And remember, he was doing that with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, I believe, because Matt Ryan was already out of there, I believe. So you go from Marcus Mariota to Trevor Lawrence. Let's not act like if you take the last year and a half out of this time frame and you just take him performing the way he was, upgrading his quarterback from Mariota to Trevor Lawrence, he's a first rounder this year. I guarantee it, right?
Or at least early second, like where AJ Brown is going, and you can get him later, 2-3 rounds later.
I just don't understand that. I understand it, but I don't. I understand it, but I'm going to gladly take him in that area. The second guy is Jameson Williams. It's a little bit of a homer pick. I understand that, but the why I'm saying it is because if I reshare where our draft just went, is Jameson Williams went at 10-4. So what is that? Doing some quick maths, like 110th pick in the draft. I mean, you're looking at the wide receivers you're drafting around him. I think Cortland Sutton's not a bad shout. OBJ, who knows what you're getting out of him. Elijah Moore, right, looks good in camp, has not proven himself. Jameson Williams has the upside when he comes back of being unreal, right? We saw him at the end of last year start to kind of kick it into gear with some big plays. Now, I will say with Jameson Williams too, suspended for 6 games so that you have to invest in that. It's an investment. And also we get to see him in preseason. The Lions have come out and said that they're going to play him a ton this preseason. So watch for that. If your draft hasn't happened yet, watch for that. If he looks spectacular, might be somebody you want to take a risk on because we're seeing him get that full healthy off season under his belt. This could be a huge jump for him here. But having said that, we'll go ahead and get into our final mock draft for the night, and we'll do a 10-teamer for this one. We did 2 12-teamers. We'll do a 10-teamer here as we wrap it up. But I will go ahead and throw this there, and I will email this to you as well. But who are some running backs you like while we're getting loaded in here that you like? for value-wise.
Say like sleeper, it doesn't necessarily mean end of the round. I just picked Hyatt because he's a very easy late round target that you can just get so late. And you never know. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 3 round type of guy, but you just never know what he's going to be, right? And if he doesn't pan out, the price you're paying for him is exactly what you're going to get for if he doesn't pan out. But running back wise, it's a little different. I don't really see anyone that's so late in the draft like that I think is like, oh my gosh, you got him or you get him in a draft. I think it's more of so looking at the running backs here, I think I want to see how low my guy is that I'm talking about. But so I think I've said it before, but James Conner, I just really don't understand how low he is in drafts. I mean, you look at the people going above him, J.K. Dobbins, Madison, Swift. You have people that haven't proven themselves in that offense yet. Like Dobbins is coming off injury. They signed Melvin Gordon. Well, why the heck would they sell Melvin Gordon or sign Melvin Gordon if they didn't think they needed him or needed another back, possibly? Yep. Sanders just went to a new team and not the best offense. Dameon Pierce is in an offense that'll be losing almost every single game. And then you look at James Conner, who his stats from last year. Do you have them on you? Because I know you were looking at them earlier. But
from the latter half of last year, so weeks 9 through 18, he was the RB6 in all of fantasy football. So he's proven that he can, and that's post Kyler Murray injury, that he's doing that.
And I think on the year he was still a top 15 RB or close to it.
I believe on the year he was like 19 on the year. So he had a rough start.
In PPR, he averaged 15.3 points per game, I just saw.
But this is total points, and he missed 3 weeks. So if we go by average here.
It was 15.3 per week or per game that he played, right? 15.3.
Yep, and he was the RB10 all season last year in points per game, not total points, but points per game. So, yes.
The fact that you're getting him as – I mean, I'm scrolling pages here. He's probably coming off as like the 30th running back almost, like close to it, like 25 range. That is very, very good value in my opinion. That is worth a take.
He was drafted as a 22nd running back in our previous mock draft. But yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point. You're getting the RB22, who is literally fresh off of a top 10 finish, and in an offense where he's going to get plenty of touches. Who knows how good they're going to be, but he's going to get plenty of touches. I think it's not a bad shout there, but I will go ahead and join this draft. And get ready to go. Hey, you're drafting. I'm drafting 6. You're drafting 7.
Yeah, I want some snakes going on here right now.
All right, sounds good. McCaffrey, fall to me. Oh man, you're gonna get your guy here because I'm gonna take my guy in Cooper Kupp. You're gonna
scared me for a second, but yeah, definitely gonna take Kelsey there at the 7. That is basically like there's no way he should fall below the 7 in my opinion. But I mean, geez, yeah, Nick Chubb, I don't like not taking receivers this early, but I just like Chubb a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Amon right here over Devontae Adams. I know that's probably not a super popular opinion. As somebody went Jefferson, Pollard, Taylor, which is unreal. Taylor falling to the 3rd round, although I did just pass on him. But my reasoning behind Amon-Ra over Devontae is because Amon-Ra is guaranteed a ton of targets, a ton of them. And he is not a get open deep type of guy. He is a 10 to 12 yards, and you know he's going to get them. Devontae Adams is in an offense where Jimmy Garoppolo is your quarterback, right? A lot of Devontae Adams' scoring last year was on deep balls from Derek Carr. Jimmy Garoppolo does not throw deep balls. He just doesn't. And so I'm not saying Devontae Adams isn't going to be good this year. I'm not saying he's not going to be fantasy relevant, but I would rather take Amon-Ra, who I know his floor is way higher than what Devontae's is.
Can we look at that 0 RB from the Team 5, though? That is unbelievable.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not so sure they couldn't have gone Hurts over Olave, and that might have helped them more. But, looking at where I'm at, I have the Hurts right there as well that I could take. And I'll tell you what I'm going to. I'm going to take Hurts, and then I'm going to hopefully get a running back on the way back around. There's 3 names I like. I have a feeling all 3 of them are going to go before it hits me, but we will see.
I want to really switch it up this draft.
Okay, I'm getting one of my guys, by the way. 2 tight ends.
Said I really want to switch it up. His value is good enough that he can be a flex person, right? And Kelsey's basically a flex. Kelsey is better than the receiver at that point that I'm taking. So playing him as basically the flex receiver. Also, just never really do it, and I just want to see how it pans out on a team and what it can look like. That's what mock drafting for.
You're probably trading Andrews in this, right?
Yeah,
if you're doing this in a real league for a receiver.
You could even trade Kelsey. I mean, I know that sounds like, but like the value you could get back if McCaffrey's struggling, right? Like you could throw him Kelsey and maybe get McCaffrey there, or like you could trade up for a Tyreek or a Cup that you really wanted, but now I make sure I still got Andrews. But in all reality, it is just a mock draft to where I wanted to see what can happen if I come in like a draft like this.
Yep. That's fair. You take ETN. I'm taking Harris. Gibbs, ETN, and Harris were my 3 guys that I wanted. I just wanted any of those 3, so I was cool with – I would have preferred Gibbs as a Lions fan, but kind of fine with whatever. Looking at where we're at here, the next – not this pick, but 6th, 7th round, I love where I'm at. For running back. So – I'm looking at where I'm at right now. Do I want to take Hawkinson? And I think I'm going to. Getting him at pick, what is that? 56? 46? 46, yeah. I think his ADP's around, 38 to 42 in there. I'm going to take Hawkinson. I was debating between him or Cooper, but I took Hawkinson. And this is going to get close. Okay, Judy was the guy I was looking at there. I will take Alexander Madison now then. Watson's not a bad shout. I'm not on the J.K. Dobbins train at all, especially at this value. So looking at where it comes back to me, I was going to end up with Cam Akers, but I'm going to take your guy. So apologies, mate. But I just like where James Conner was falling to there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm going to go ahead and do something we talked about, the Trevor Lawrence and also ETN to try to get most of the touchdowns in that offense if ETN holds it over Bigsby. And look at how many blew off the board right after that.
Yep. I was looking at where I was at, and I was like, I think I might be able to get wide receiver at 8 and 9 and both of them be decent, but I can't. There's 2 guys I want, and I'll take whichever one you don't take. And it is Kirk and Johnson. I'll take Kirk then. Yep. I think they're both really good. They both have wide receiver 1 upside, to be quite honest. And we both just got them as our wide receiver 3s. So I'm cool with that. Wide receivers continuing to fly off the board. But I get my guy here in Brandon Cooks. I'm assuming that was probably your guy as well.
Yeah, it was 100%. But also that means I get to take my 3rd RB as Javonte Williams, which zero complaint about that.
Yep. Hard to complain about that.
3 receivers that are pretty good, right? And then you look at basically Kelsey as another receiver. And I have the 2nd best tight end as well. So this draft is not shaking out nearly as bad as I would think a 2 tight end draft would, especially with the premium I'm paying for one.
Yeah. Well, I think that you look at what you could get if you trade Kelsey. You could be in a spot that's just unreal, to be quite honest with you. So I'm looking at this. This is where I see the running backs kind of starting to top off is in the next 15 picks for the tiers of that. In all honesty, I'm going to take I think there's two guys I'm really looking at here. One of them is Quentin Johnston. One of them is Elijah Moore. I'm going to take Quentin Johnston. I think his upside is really high, especially because that Chargers wide receiver room is so unhealthy, dude, all the time. That Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, I can promise you, will not play. There's no way that either of them play 17 games this year. So this is where, like I said, the running back room is ending. And so this is where I'm going to kind of finalize my running back room. I'm going to get my fourth one, and that's probably all I'm drafting until maybe, a Roschon Johnson or a Tank Bigsby late. But there's a few names: Rashad Penny, Khalil Herbert, Devon Achane, and Damian Harris are really the four. I'm just going to take Rashad Penny, the first one there. Philly's offensive line is just so good, and DeAndre Swift is so unhealthy. I know that as a Lions fan, that it's the second Swift goes down and you have Rashad Penny running behind the Philadelphia offensive line, I'm thrilled about it. I mean, I'll take that any day of the week.
So I've taken the Khalil Herbert. I haven't really got Achane. I'm hoping I get him on the way back here, but I'm taking someone that is very key to take, a Perine. We've seen him produce in the Bengals, but we've talked. Nice. We talked that we do believe that Williams is healthy, but if he goes down again, you got Perine, who would be thrusted into an offense that this year should be pretty good. Should be catches, should be getting dump offs, and should be getting a lot of work. So I don't mind taking a Perine there, and of course I didn't get the guy I wanted on the way back, but
yeah, there are two big names that I want here, and that wasn't either of them. I'm going to take Jameson Williams. I was just talking about him. Cortland Sutton was the other one that there's no way there's no way he makes it back to me again. But now I'm in a spot where I'm going to take a defense here. Somehow I have my choice between the Eagles and 49ers. The Bills going over the 49ers and Eagles should be like a felony, to be quite honest with you.
The Cowboys.
But the Cowboys at least have, Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, two big namers. The Bills defense is, I'm not saying it's bad, but it by no means has the names like the 49ers and the Eagles do. I mean,
no, I think I am taking Eagles here, especially I don't mind their schedule. I mean, I'm said I'm big on waiting for the Saints, but if I do it every single draft, that's going to work.
Yeah, I saw a thing today about Jalen Carter. And Fletcher Cox said that Jalen Carter is forcing defenses to, forcing the Philadelphia offense and whoever they're joint practicing with this week. I don't necessarily know. Whoever they are, though, he's forcing their offensive lines to have to game plan around him in camp as a rookie. So he's keeping the off-field stuff off-field and keeping it under control. And I think everybody knew that if he could do that, he was going to be unreal in the league. And he very much is going to be a problem. Looking at where I'm at, I have 4 running backs. I have 2, 4, 6 receivers. So probably going to take a sleeper running back here. A few guys that I could take, plenty of guys on the board that I like. But I'm going to take Tank Bigsby. I think he's just an animal of a runner. And I didn't want him to end up with you at that pick.
I appreciate it, but I think I got to where I think I've taken a 5th receiver here. Only taking 4 is wild, but also I'm just going to count one of my tight ends as being a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just take upside, right? Take upside.
Yep, Rashee Rice, dude, he's actually going to be he has the DK Metcalf build, right?
I mean,
DK Metcalf.
It's exciting to see a different type of build in a Chiefs offense as a receiver. It is different to see him making a route and a throw from Mahomes compared to seeing little Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, who are basically like slot guys, but you can't have them all playing the outside receivers.
Yeah. DK Metcalf coming into his rookie year, 6'3", 228 with 4.33 and a 40-inch vertical jump. Rashee Rice is 6'1", so 2 inches shorter, 20 pounds lighter. 4'5", so a little bit slower, but a 41-inch vertical jump. A freak athlete in the in the deep ball. So yeah, dude, I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah, like you said, just a new aspect for Mahomes to take advantage of and show us why he's so great. And we can listen to Tony Romo. I mean, never shut up about how good of a play it was that Mahomes threw it up as high as he could, and Rashee Rice jumped over 3 defensive backs and caught it.
I mean, you remember the hype when Josh Gordon was signed, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, Josh Gordon's going to the Chiefs." It's like, "Oh my god!" I mean, come on, man. Rashee Rice is going to be in a way better state than Josh Gordon was going there, so the hype should be bigger than it was for Josh Gordon.
I mean, it's hard to be in a worse state than Josh Gordon going there. I mean,
thing, right? So you can't expect that much, and everyone did.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, dude was going over the state lines to Missouri and back and forth between Missouri and Kansas to use whatever drug he wanted to.
Yeah,
that dude might be the biggest. I mean, say what you want. It's the best drug addict the league's ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, he was dominant for a little bit on a team that wasn't even very good.
Oh, you're talking football. I thought you were talking as.
Yeah, he was dominant in that area too.
I mean, the best the league's ever seen. He is the Michael Jordan. He's the Michael Jordan and LeBron James combined of that area in the NFL at least.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't see anybody better. I don't think.
I mean, I hope not.
Yeah, me too. But that's all we got for today. We got more mock drafts, more just football talk coming. We got 2 more days left of this Football Frenzy week, and then we'll have probably 2 live streams ish a week to go over football stuff and everything that's happening. But other than that, this has been